I'm going to tell you exactly how I developed £2 million worth of property in the last 2 years. Hi, my name's Ethan Hammond and I'm a property developer based in South London. And I got started in property at just 22 years old. And before we get into this, no, this was not one of those no money down deals. This was me simply working with a private investor in a joint venture partnership to acquire property. From that point onwards, I documented my journey, created a personal brand, and accelerated my growth within this industry. Okay, so to break down what a joint venture agreement is, it is simply a business agreement where two or more people pool their resources together to complete a specific task. And in my case, this meant that I was bringing to the table my network and my knowledge. And my private investor was bringing to the table the resources and the funds to enable us to acquire property. We then set up an SPV, which is a special purpose vehicle, which is essentially just another business to be able to acquire the property within. Now, after telling someone that story, the first question they might ask is, how as a newbie do you get an investor to come into a partnership with you to acquire property? And my number one thing that I always say is, it depends on how you position yourself. You need to position yourself as a person of value, which is very key and important, and it's highlighted by what I'm about to say. Every day I've learned in property and within the industry of business is that there is an abundance of money out there. There is so much money, more money than you can ever imagine is completely out there. There's some sitting dormant in funds and just sitting there doing completely nothing. However, there is a lack of knowledge. There's a lot of people that don't know what to do with the funds that they have in their possession, because a lot of people come into funds for loads of different reasons. Some come into funds through inheritance, remortgage, injury claims, and sometimes just having savings across the whole years that have been able to accumulate and compound interest on. However, they sit on these dormant funds and do nothing with it. And you, as a person who's invested in yourself and got the knowledge, you can position yourself as someone that can help them. And it becomes a two-way relationship. You can build your portfolio and you can help someone else also gain better interest and make their money work a lot harder for them. Now, this all starts with educating yourself. You want to be able to educate yourself to be able to find deals, appraise deals, structure deals in a way that maximizes the returns and minimizes your risk, and present these opportunities to investors who can potentially invest in these projects for a fixed return or come into partnerships with you where you can both earn 50% of the business. So I took the approach of investing in myself and studying the game of property to be able to acquire these skills, to be able to stand in front of investors and position myself as a person of value. So this with me started whilst I was at university, where literally I'd live, eat and breathe property. I was reading books, watching podcasts, listening to books and attending webinars, seminars, networking events, you name it. And then when I came out of uni, I then joined a mastermind group which allowed me to take a more proactive approach with my learning. And then that gave me even the further confidence to be able to stand in front of investors and essentially convince them to invest in me. However, the key thing is not making sure that you're overselling, because you need to understand your position as someone that is also giving as much value to them as they will be giving value to you. It is a two-way thing. It's not a thing of you're just borrowing their funds. You're either giving them a fixed return or equity into a business which they can then earn money on over time and gain from capital appreciation from all the assets that would have been acquired. After successfully agreeing to a joint venture partnership with my private investor, I acquired my first property, and that is when the journey really kicked off. I started documenting all my ups and my downs, and it's okay to document your downs because people that want to invest in you want to see how you overcome challenges. What do you do when you're faced with problems, and what is your network that you go to? And where I was in a position where I was so eager and so determined, I was paying to get into certain rooms to access the knowledge and to access certain people who had all the answers, because I always saw this as an investment into myself, which I would then see the returns in my business. Through documenting everything, I was bringing people on this journey with me. And I have people that didn't invest in me from day one, but would invest in me at day 20. And that's only because they've been watching everything and they bought into me. They bought into the brand. They bought into what I was trying to do. And then they started believing in me and then in turn started investing in me. So being able to gain so much traction, gain people that want to invest in you, and becoming more of an investable person allowed me to then go out, invest in myself even more, to educate myself, to present more opportunities to all these people, which then in turn allowed me to gain investment to be able to acquire all the property across the last couple of years. In the last 2 years, I've been able to raise over £600,000 worth of private investor finance, and I've been able to use these funds to invest in flips, HMOs, and ground up developments. At the moment, I've got a planning application in for an extra 2 units on my flats, and I'm developing a HMO which has already been rented out. Contracts already been in place, which will generate me a net profit of around £2,000 a month. So doing all of this and across the last 2 years has allowed me to be able to see the returns. However, the journey did not start 2 years ago. That is something I do definitely want to emphasize. The journey started when I was in second year in 2018, when I picked up my first property book, and I decided to read and be so invested in this to be able to get to where I am today. So the key thing is, although I've been able to see this progress in the last 2 years, where I started and where I started being able to position myself as a person of value started 4 or 5 years ago, where I first picked up my first book, and which has led me to go on. However, it simply just doesn't have to take that long. In September 2022, I formed my own exclusive mastermind because I truly believe this is what helped accelerate my growth and give me the confidence to be more proactive within the industry. I had people around me who wanted to get involved within property, so I thought to myself, why not create my own mastermind to help those that are around me? Now fast forward a year later, I have members in the group that are on their third property deal after purchasing 2 properties in the space of 6 months using creative strategies that we had discussed on our site visits and on our deal workshops. So I've decided to officially brand the mastermind group as the Key Advantage Group. So make sure you click the link below to check out more of what we're doing on Instagram, and we will have so much more information out there for you to get involved. Right, so the key takeaways I want you to go away with the video is how you position yourself will determine your path for the future, and you want to position yourself as a person of value, and that starts with your education and your knowledge and your network. And secondly, a personal brand will not help you accelerate your growth, it will also help you create a community and gain the traction from investors that can help you along your journey. So that wraps it up from me today. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you back on site.